the greatest rave that ever there was. The first rave. Equivalent of Studio 54, a nightclub. There were celebrities and famous people mixing with street culture. There are the young lovers. They break a rule. She falls in love. What a thing to live through. The nightclub of your dreams was Moulin Rouge.
The Moulin Rouge! If life's an awful bore and living's just a chore, 'cause death's not much fun. I've just the antidote, and though I mustn't gloat at the Moulin Rouge, you'll have fun. You know you
The Moulin Rouge was a world where the rich and the powerful could mix with the young and the beautiful and the penniless. And all the rich folk would come down and slum it in this wild nightclub.
In the Moulin Rouge, anything is possible. You can be debauched, you can be crazy, you can have whatever you want, and then in the morning you leave.
Paris at that time was the city of its age in 1900. There was this incredible wealth, incredible beauty, incredible art next to incredible poverty. And with poverty came bohemianism and a complete reworking at the social mores and what it meant to be human.
And the Moulin Rouge was the world of the edgy, interesting artist. It was peopled with the Bob Dylans and the Eminems and the rock stars, the street rock stars of their time.
The Bohemian Revolution is here!
Our Moulin Rouge is all of the things that existed in the Moulin Rouge put into one moment, dealt with in a way you've never imagined. It's been an ambition of mine for a very long time to find a cinematic language through which you can tell story through music.
In the name of love, one night in the name of love.
You crazy fool, I won't give in to you.
I think in some ways love can be expressed through music in ways that it can't in other genres.
The thing I wanted to deal with is growing up.
Not be there 2 minutes and you'll be sauceling upset.
The journey from idealistic youth into adulthood.
The great thing that Baz wanted to do with this film was embrace the love story and the truth of that.
It's about being in love and it's about love itself.
Y tus trailers, visita mi canal.
I play Christian, who's a young penniless poet who dreams of becoming a writer in the turn of the last century and really does fall into Bohemia rather quickly with the help of Toulouse-Lautrec.
How do you do?
My character Toulouse-Lautrec brings him to the Moulin Rouge where they need something new, and Ewan McGregor comes in and he's got this new thing.
Shoes are alive with the sound of music. I love it!
I come up with things like the hills are alive with the sound of music and everybody thinks that's fantastic.
The boy has talent! I like him! Nothing funny. I just like talent.
Popular songs are his new poetry, his new technique.
He ends up falling into a den of bohemes and decadence.
It's your first job in Paris.
And on the night he arrives, he's taken to the Moulin Rouge, which is the wickedest, wildest nightclub of the time.
And I introduce him to the love of his life.
It's her, the sparkling diamond.
I play Satine. She sings and dances and is also a courtesan at the Moulin Rouge. He sees her, first of all, up on a trapeze and falls in love with her.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay the rental on your humble flats or help you feed your pussycat.
I believe you were expecting me.
Yes.
I'm afraid it's ladies' choice.
He falls in love with Satine. And that's where our story starts.
I believe in truth, freedom, and above all things, love.
Our hero goes into this underworld with his absolute youthful ideal of love, falls in love with an impossible love, Satine.
Silly think he would fall in love with someone like me.
I can't fall in love with anyone. I make men believe what they want to believe.
She is, on the one hand, unattainable, but extremely available.
The greatest thing is just to love and be loved in return.
You're going to be bad for business, I can tell.
She breaks her rule. She falls in love for the very first time.
I play Harold Ziedler, the man who runs the Moulin Rouge.
Everything's going!
He's a larger-than-life character. He's an entrepreneur, he's a bit of a schemer, a bit of an operator.
I've arranged a special meeting, just you and Mademoiselle Satie.
So he gets this rich duke who puts money into the show on the promise that he will have whatever he wants of Satine.
We're all relying on you, Gosling. Remember? A real show in a real theatre with a real audience. And you'll be...
a real actress.
Dearest Duke, allow me to introduce Mademoiselle Satine.
Monsieur, how wonderful of you to take time out of your busy schedule to visit.
The pleasure, I fear, will be entirely mine, my dear.
I'll leave you two squirrels to get better acquainted. Ta-ta!
He's an English duke visiting the Moulin Rouge, and he, of course, falls completely head over heels in love with Satine.
I am willing to provide the financial resources to make you a star.
She...
Oh, Duke.
She doesn't love you!
There's a kind of darkness that lies underneath him, and it's a darkness that springs from jealousy.
I just don't like other people touching my things!
Courtesans were like rock stars. You know, dukes would give their entire kingdoms for a courtesan.
I want her back, Ziedler. Tell her that she will come to me, or I'll have the boy killed.
It was just a very different type of movie-making experience with Baz Luhrmann.
Brought a whole lot of end-of-the-century elements and focused them into the Moulin Rouge of our heightened world.
It's a created world, but that world is complete. It's a 360-degree world.
It's quite amazing. We don't ever go outside. It's entirely shot indoors, which is quite unusual.
We shot it in Sydney, we shot it all on sound stages, so we had to build every set. I mean, the sets were amazing.
It's extraordinary. It's like a feast. It really is like a feast for the eyes, I think, you know.
The clash of styles, actually. The classical, the period style with the modern style, be it in decoration, be it in the design, in wardrobe, in the music. It makes it breathtaking.
Moulin Rouge was basically made up of three parts. A facade that had various themed areas with a windmill, a garden and a dance hall. The main hall did have galleries that surrounded a dance floor. The band stand was suspended.
It was enormous. There really was this giant elephant in the garden with a nightclub inside.
It actually had an opium den.
The big elephant they built was really 60 feet high. We had to wear harnesses as it was so high up and it was really dangerous.
Tráilers, visita mi canal.
The opening shot of the film, we zoom in over Paris and go through the window of Christian's garret. We built an entire model of Paris and then we digitally put people in it. So it was very intricate work. And we have the record now for the 2 longest visual effects shots in the history of cinema for this week.
Baz is very stylistic. Everything has an incredible look.
We've made 300 costumes from scratch. At one point we had 80 people in the wardrobe alone. Ewan's an incredibly attractive man and we wanted him to look credible. There had to be a kind of a sense of reality.
We just needed to find very classic styles that would make him just be a handsome leading man.
How do I look?
Nicole is so naturally glamorous, it's ridiculous not to use that because she does embody the sparkling diamond of the Moulin Rouge.
She was a star, and every one of her clothes was a character costume for her.
She looks a little bit like Marlene Dietrich, a little bit like Madonna, a little bit like Marilyn.
Wilting flower, bright and bubbly, or smouldering temptress.
She has all those iconic women. The legend was that everything was paid in diamonds, and there are stories of courtesans taking handfuls of diamonds and throwing them in the fire to see them burn to ash. Hence the diamond dog.
We decided that each of the girls should be individuals. There were some that were more famous than others.
We wear corsets and we have these incredibly detailed costumes with hundreds of frills and beading. We are quite restricted, but as we've gotten used to it, it feels really sexy.
It's worked quite well to emphasise that seedy look of the Moulin Rouge.
Baz was very strong on the fact that the audience needed to get the excitement, the kind of visceral sexuality, the craziness of that period. The dance was extremely sexy, and the whole idea of your leg going up and down all the time was that maybe somebody could catch a glimpse.
Can was a dance so violent people were killed from dancing it.
I tried to make it a bit looser in the sense that it wasn't a structured can-can that you'd seen if you go to Paris now. So approached it first from the idea of what if the girls came out and it was more like they were having a battle, a bit like two groups of warring gangs.
So we had to draw upon contemporary club music as we were reinventing it. The sort of aggressive, tribal, pumped-up drum beat.
Fatboy Slim has done the can-can, and so all of a sudden you go, this is a wild, sexy, hardcore dance.
I think Baz's idea that wild, hedonistic abandon and glamour are kind of timeless. So it had to be something big and brash and as bold as the dancing.
Where were you last night?
Our hero thinks that his heroine is about to give herself to another man, so he's insanely jealous.
On opening night, I have to sleep with the Duke. And the jealousy will drive you mad.
The Argentinian said, in Argentina we have this dance, and then they start to dance the tango. The tango sequence was great to play with because we have 30 couples all doing the same formation step.
You don't care if it's wrong or if it is right.
It wasn't just dancing, there was a reason for it. It's so sexy and so exciting. It starts with just two people and then it grows.
Tus tráilers. Visítanos.
key is this. We're going to take all musical influences to create this heightened world.
Certainly haven't made a musical like this, but that's a huge part of the joy of it, you know.
I wanted this thing that felt like a musical, but had the soundtrack of a modern movie. Beck, for example, and Timbaland have done a cover of David Bowie's Diamond Dogs.
I just wanted to be a part of it. He was going to take some chances, you know. I mean, that's kind of the spirit of the movie.
Lil' Kim, Pink, Maya, and Christina Aguilera have all done Lady Marmalade with Missy producing, and that is a killer track.
It's more of an urban, more of today's sounding track, and I think it turned out really, really great, so I'm excited.
Music is my thing, I love it.
Baz thought that using contemporary music in that time period made the audience relate to it more.
It'll be lots of fun.
There's a huge range of music in this film.
It's a little bit funny.
This feeling
inside.
Cause we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
She says you make her feel like a virgin.
One day I'll fly away. Diamonds are like diamonds are like
So the actual songs are structural devices through the film to push the storytelling.
We hear music on a different emotional level than we hear dialogue.
Music touches and unites us in a way in which words cannot describe. It's there when words fail us.
My gift is my song. And this one's for you. And you can tell everybody that this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world.
There's something romantic about singing to each other. I think the music helps you to understand why these people are falling in love, what they feel for each other.
Some of these verses, well, they got me quite cross.
Every time Ewan sings, I fall in love with him.
What I wanted at the heart of it was magnificent actors who could use their song to tell story. The big surprise is that actually Ewan and Nicole, every note in that film that they sing is their voice.
I'll write a song, and we'll put it in the show, and no matter how bad things get, or whatever happens, whenever you hear it, or when you sing it, or whistle it, or hum it, well, then you'll know it'll mean that we love one another.
There's one song number, which is an original composition by David Bearwald. That's Come What May.
Tus tráilers. Visita mi canal.
I could feel like this.
It just came along and seemed undeniably the right thing to be Christian and Satine's secret love duet.
But I love you until the end of time. Come what may.
It's about a love that will survive any kind of obstacle or any kind of separation. It's just so central to their souls that nothing can take it away.
My life doesn't seem such a waste.
All
we played around, and that was the fun thing about being in the recording studio, was that I realized, wow, you approach this in the same way that you approach acting, in the sense that you explore and you try different things, and you can really use your voice in different ways.
I was knocked out by her voice. I couldn't believe it because you've never seen it before.
If someone said to me, we have this musical, do you want to be in it? I would have said no. But when I heard that Baz Luhrmann was making a musical, the same guy that had done Romeo and Juliet and Strictly Ballroom, that's when I thought, this is interesting.
And it goes whoosh.
Because his whole idea was to take the genre and sort of reinvent it.
And rolling.
Baz is so different than all the other filmmakers out there. And he's very whimsical and theatrical and fantastical.
So he's very much a storyteller. Few people can do that thing where it's hilariously funny 1 minute, heartbreaking the next, a dance routine, that ability to move us very skillfully through all this huge range of emotion.
Baz is an original. He understands pop culture better than anybody I've ever seen. He's a great showman.
Unstoppable genius, really. I've never ever felt more satisfied on anything.
Cut. I will print that and we'll go one more.
I think Baz has got a habit of picking things that on first approach are not necessarily appealing. Ballroom dancing, Shakespeare. But when you go and see them, you have such a great time that you tell all your friends.
If you look at Strictly Ballroom and Romeo and Juliet and this film, they all belong to a similar style. It's audience participation cinema. Strictly Ballroom, story is predominantly told through dance. In Romeo and Juliet, the thing that constantly reminds you it's not reality is that they speak a heightened language.
Forswear its sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
And in this project, it's the fact that they break out into song.
Though nothing will keep us together.
It reminds our audience that they're watching a movie. Don't go to sleep. Don't go into the dream. It's the opposite of most cinema.
That is extraordinary. And he's got the most fantastic imagination.
Baz has such an unusual way of viewing the world. The way in which he presents it is spectacular.
Baz has his eye on the popular pulse. It's big and it's extravagant and it's exuberant.
Now, if you look at the period in which the film is set, it was kind of a potpourri of culture of the last century. It was a period of extraordinary change, exactly as we're going through now. And I do feel in the world at the moment, where we have needs for different kinds of storytelling.
Baz put enough funk and groove and falling in love so that, younger people can appreciate it.
It's ultimately about love, and I can imagine it will really, really blow everyone away.
It's still sort of a very exciting notion to be able to go to a club where you can kind of lose your identity, get lost, and live out your fantasies. And that's what the Moulin Rouge was.